Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite tank Gung-Ho Guns, still rocking the stash and ready to show you how it's done. In today's episode of Tank vs Dungeon, we're heading to Throwing Liberty's Carmine Rage Island, a place that sounds like a holiday resort, but it's more like a nightmare with lava. Don't worry though, I'll show you how to turn it into a walk in the park, and all from a tank's perspective. So, grab a juice box because nothing screams tanking like a Capri Sun, and let's dive in. All right, my friends, thank you very much again for being here. Let's just jump straight in. The biggest thing that you need to know about this dungeon, nobody wants to freaking do it. Seriously, the moment players arrive, they start leaving the group faster than my healer when I accidentally stand in fire. I'm not sure why. Maybe they think it's hard. Spoiler alert, it's really not. In fact, I argue this is one of the easier dungeons once you know what to do, but hey, they're lost, right? Anyway, let's move on and we'll show you how this is done. As you make your way from the beach, you'll run into some mobs, but don't worry, they don't really do anything special, just your standard cannon fodder. As a tank, your job is very simple. Grab them all, gather them up like you're herding grumpy cats, and let your group AoE them down like the heroes they are. Don't be shy about using that AoE ton here, it's practically made for moments like this. Easy peasy. And now onto our first mini boss fight, or more accurately, a puzzle disguised as a boss mini fight. When you enter this room, you'll notice statues scattered around the arena. They're not just there for decoration, they're the key to this phase, and here is how it works. Each statue will briefly light up with a colored symbol. A few seconds later, those symbols will disappear. At this point, each player will get a colored mark above their head, and their job is to run to the statue with the matching color. I know, you're gonna have to remember a lot of things, and it sounds like a lot, right? It's like trying to match socks in the dark. But don't worry, there's an easier way to do this, and here's how you do it properly. And when I say easier, I meant that as a joke. Again, the way that I handle this, as you know, within my groups is I ask everybody to zoom out and try to remember at least 3 colors. Again, easy as possible. In theory, if everybody gets 3, you should have, this with no problem. However, most of the groups are random. This will never work perfectly. So this is what you do. This is where the healer shines. You need to ask your healer to pretty much be ready. This mechanic, even if you fail it, it will actually not kill you. It will just take you to very, very low HP. The healer needs to, at that point, just spam his AoE taunt or AoE heal, get everybody back up. The thing that you can do as the tank is make sure that you grab the attention of the boss when he comes back ASAP. So what you want to do is ask the entire group to move in and be very, very, small. That way the AoE heal can jump on right away for everybody. Again, this is more of a healer fight, but again, super easy if you just kind of gather everybody together. Make sure that your group is not spread out so the AoE heals can work. Let's move on. As we move on from the room, you'll run into some mobs here. Again, nothing fancy, just your standard tank and spank. Easy situation, kill them all. However, next up, you'll find yourself at a bridge, and this is where things get a little interesting. I actually love this little boss fight on the or the mini puzzle that I guess they have on the bridge. But again, don't worry, I'll show you how to do it properly. So step 1 is you want to tell your team to stay off the bridge before you get to it. Seriously, do not let them Leroy Jenkins their way into the chaos. I mean, they could, but it's a lot more fun this way. Step 2, look at the barrels near the bridge and use your abilities to hit the barrels and push them towards the ads. If you do this right, the barrels will roll up to the mobs, and when the mobs walk towards them, they'll boom, explode, they'll kill each other. Congratulations, you can pass this whole thing. With that said, again, these are random groups, and most people don't listen. It just is what it is. Just get over the bridge. As we move forward after the bridge, you'll find yourself face to face with a second mini boss, and let me just say, this guy is so fun. You'll have to fly to him to kick things off, but here's the kicker. As soon as you land, the fight begins. So again, no countdown, no warning, just straight into the action. But don't worry, I'll show you how to beat it easily. Step 1, as a tank, your first priority is to grab the boss and pull him to one of the sides like this, and do this ASAP. The faster, the better. Why? Because you need to give the rest of the team a safe place to stand. Trust me, this will make the fight 1,000 times easier if you do this. Do not tank him in the middle. I repeat, do not tank him in the middle. You'll see why in just a moment. But for now, focus on pulling him to the side and holding aggro. Step 2, the red circles, the dance of doom. The next mechanic is the red circles will appear under each player. The golden rule here, do not overlap them. Sounds easy, right? Well, in random groups, especially if you got more than one melee player, things get super chaotic super fast. Here's what I like to do. If you notice the melee player getting a little too cozy and being a dork, move as a tank to create enough space between you and them. Sometimes you can lead by example, maybe it'll work. Sometimes you really can't, there's just not enough space. And that's just the point where you want to pop one of your defensives and just let the healer know that your DPS are dorks. Anyway, moving on. Step 3. At this point, the boss will drop a bomb somewhere on the field. This is exactly why we tank him in a corner. It gives your team the rest of the arena to work with. Here's what your team needs to do. Find the bomb and immediately focus on it. Attack, shoot it, kick it, whatever works, man. Just send it flying off the arena. Just make sure everyone is hitting in the same direction to avoid any chaos. If you do this correctly, the bomb will fall off the arena and nobody takes damage. All right, and the last step, the big bomb and platform escape. The final mechanic is here. The boss will drop a big bomb right in the center of the arena, just like so. At this time, a hookable platform will appear, letting you zip out of danger and onto the next arena. Here's what you do. The moment you see the big bomb in the middle, start scanning for the hookable platform. Run to it as soon as possible, press F to hook to it, and fly over to the next arena for safety. You'll have to do this twice because the boss, will switch the island or the arenas twice. There will be more bombs, etc., but there will be no new mechanics to learn. So stick to what you already mastered, and you got this fight in the bag. Let's finish strong and take this boss down ASAP. All right, final boss time, Gaten. This boss can surprisingly be super easy if you stick to a few simple tricks. I'll keep this straightforward, just a handful of tanking tips and things to watch out for to make this fight a breeze. I don't like to overcomplicate things with do this or that. I'm just going to give you what you actually need to know here. Let's get it. Step 1 is to avoid the spin attack if you can. Gaten's first trick is using that spin attack. He'll raise his axe to the sky, do a dramatic pause like he's starting some action movie, and then he'll spin like a tornado with a vengeance. Here's how you can handle it depending on your gear. Option 1, simply move out of the range, easiest way to avoid any damage. Option 2, if you have a lot of HP like I do and a lot of defense, you can just use your Q ability to block and mitigate some of the damage. Again, this attack will still hit you, but again, it's super manageable, nothing to worry about, but again, you can avoid it if you need. Step 2, the purple circle block is back. Again, this one's very simple, but it's very important. Gaten will throw out a purple circle attack that can be pretty much avoided if you just hit the Q ability. Again, 100% avoidable. Do not stress your healer out more than you need to. Just again, time it and then block it. Step 3 is the charge mechanic. This mechanic can be a real nightmare if not handled properly. It's marked with a purple diamond like so you know when it's coming. The boss will charge 3 times at players, and if he targets a squishy DPS, they're basically toast if they get hit. Here's how you handle this properly. Step 1. Bait the first charge. Before the phase starts, assign a ranged character to bait the first charge. The boss will always charge at the farthest player away from him, so make sure the baiter stays at maximum range. This keeps the first charge away from the group and buys you time to set up for step 2. Step 2 is avoid the path. The rest of the players must stay out of the line of fire. If anyone gets between the baiting player and the boss will just charge through them and absolutely kill them one-shot style. For the second charge, the boss will also pick a random player and so again, be alert and try to kind of move away from the group if it is you. Again, you can just kind of strafe left and right to avoid it, which leads us to step 3. The step 3, the tank will always take the final charge. The last charge will always be targeted at the tank. So again, this is our moment, if you will. Move away from the group to avoid collateral damage, and this should be done as the second charge is being hit in. If you have enough HP, again, you can survive the hit, but again, try not to because you don't want to stress the healer. Simply bait the charge away from the group. As you see him charging, just strafe left and right to avoid the damage. That's how you handle this properly. Let's move on. Step 4 is a spinning tornado. This mechanic is actually pretty simple, but can trip up a lot of groups because they don't pay attention. Normally, you'd avoid being anywhere near a tornado, right? Because, survival instincts and all, but this is like reverse psychology at its finest. Here's how it works. When the boss starts spinning around like a tornado, you and your entire group should gather right next to the boss. Yes, inside a tornado. The key here is to stay as close to the boss as possible. Move with him as he spins. You actually take damage and can die if you're outside the tornado. Again, very simple. Stay with them, move with them, maybe grab his shirt and hold on. Anyway, moving on. Step 5 is the Tether, the group killer. This is really the big mechanic that tests the group's coordination and normally kills most groups. The boss will tether 4 players and bind them to 4 pillars around the arena, just like so. Then he'll start cleaving the entire area 4 times around the pillars. If you get caught in the cleave, you die. Simple, right? Here's how to handle it step by step perfectly. Step 1. Identify the marked player. In this case, I was here, I was marked. You'll notice the ball over my head, indicating that you're the first in line for the Tether. He's going to cleave your area first. So prepare yourself to run. This is, again, gives you some time to kind of adjust. I'll actually show you a quick picture of the arena right now. I want you to pay attention to these circles on the ground right here. We'll call them safeguard circles for now. But again, just going to keep an eye on them just for right now, and I'll show you what to do with them in a second. Step 2. Running to safety. Once the boss pulls you to a pillar, you'll notice you're standing in one of those safeguard circles. Now you're chained to the pillar, FYI. Immediately turn into mount form and start running either to the left or the right side, of the safeguard circles. You'll notice right there. You need to reach that next safeguard before the cleave starts. So the tether will also pull you back as you run, but as long as you're in mount form, you'll have plenty of time to outrun this. So the goal, get to the nearest safeguard circle away from yours without panicking, just like so. Step 4, once the first cleave destroys its assigned pillar, the very first one, run back ASAP to that same pillar it just destroyed recently. Again, this pillar that they just destroyed, this little circle area here, will remain 100% safe for the rest of the phase. Yes, you heard that right. You can literally just stand here and relax and just kill the boss. You don't have to do anything else, no dodging, no panicking. If you just stay on this circle, you will, avoid the entirety of the phase and all the rest of the cleaves. Again, there are some players that are going to be dodging the hammer, etc., and all that jazz. Yes, you can definitely do that, but you don't need to. If you just stand here, let the healer heal, your DPS can just stay on the boss and kill it. Next step is we have 2 minor things to watch out for. Minor, but again, very important to help the healer out. So again, 2 things to watch out for. Number 1, don't stand in stupid. Look, it's basic MMO survivability, right? Don't stand in the fire. These flames hurt a lot. If you see the fire on the ground, just move. It's not that hard, folks. Common sense, right, goes a very long way. Anyway, step 2 is a little bit more important. The second thing that you should watch out for is the charge after the 4th pillar that goes down in the tether mode. The boss will always charge at the tank here. What you have to do when this is happening, either you as the tank or the group need to separate. Normally, I'll tell the group, get the hell away from me, and they'll leave me and I'll take the charge. Or if they're, random players and they're not reading or they're not moving, you can get the hell away from them. And then, to bait the charge with the boss. It will always be at you. So FYI, you guys need to separate. Again, don't feel like you need to actually take the hit. As a tank, you do have the HP to survive it, but there's no need. So you can just strafe left, strafe right, and avoid it. Again, this kind of concludes the biggest mechanics. Is because they come, really fast with these. Next step. Well, there really isn't one. That's it, folks. Follow these steps and these tricks, and this boss actually becomes way too easy. In fact, if you got your healer with you, you absolutely can 2-man this boss. I've done it before. The extra DPS just makes it go faster, where you don't have to poke a pencil through your eye. Anyway, Thank you all so much for spending a few minutes with me. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you. If you learned something new or enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, let me know in the comments if you got any other strategies or questions. I would be happy to help you guys out. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, happy Thanksgiving, friends, and take care of each other. See you around.